This is Richard, and my story is Dead Silence. I had followed Jack Evans for 2 weeks. He never deviated from his appointed rounds, which included arriving at his permanent and perfect parking space far earlier than any other of his law firm partners, and earlier than most of the other building's tenants. He was easy to follow unseen, even for a novice like me. There was never anyone besides him and me near his spot. No one has written a DIY Hitman for Dummies book, but I've seen enough TV to know some tricks of the trade, more than sufficient to complete my job, and it helps to be a psychopath. His wife wanted to be rich, and she wanted to be rich now. She feared that their ironclad prenup, executed by one of his Tom Ford-suited partners, would trump even the best divorce attorney in town, even with the ER photos of her cuts, bruises, and broken arms. Maybe her love had turned to hate for valid reasons, or maybe not. Maybe she had never loved him at all. It didn't matter to me. I was Switzerland. I don't believe in coincidence, but I do believe in fate. So which was it? And what's the fucking difference? When I ran into an ex at the only reunion of any kind that I've ever attended, and she remembered me wondering about the life of a hitman, and she had a friend who had recently mentioned wishing her husband was dead, and if her friend really meant it. My ex hooked us up. We met at the Belmont, a sleek, noisy, high-profile foodie joint. I figured anyone having lunch there would be either taking a meeting or too self-absorbed to care about us. I wore my best suit so I would almost fit in. Standing at the door momentarily to let my eyes adjust, I scanned the room, stopping at a table for two with only one diner. I knew it was her immediately. She was still a knockout, just a very few signs of aging well. Dressed to kill. Her voice had a husky note of smoke. "You come highly recommended." She didn't know this was my first job. She handed me a standard manila envelope that held not a screenplay for development, but in fact my 50% deposit in cash, the bills packed tight as a can of sardines. Pretending to give her my number, I slid the burner phone I'd used to call her on when it was safe enough, across the table. I was in the nearly empty garage, in a blind spot vis-a-vis his parking space. He got out, opened his back door, as always retrieving his suit coat. His back was to me. I was beside him before he could turn around. I double-tapped him, and he dropped like a stone. Blood spattered, and I jumped back, startled. The sound of the shots spread like a stone skipping across a lake, through the echo chamber of the garage. Dead silence. Hadn't thought to bring earplugs. Unable to hear whether or not a good Samaritan looky-loo on another level had heard the shots and was yelling for help, which begged the question, would I have killed him, her, or them also? I reversed my jacket to the black side as I calmly but deliberately made, like Michael Corleone, my way to the far stairwell, sighing with relief as I heard the stairway door shut behind me. I tap-danced down to the ground floor. Unseen, I slipped out through a side door and vanished down the dark alley, still awaiting the morning sun.